Morning, y'all. We're trying to get this in before the sun comes up over the trees because it's going to be a hot day in Meemaw's garden today. I'm out here in the raised rose beds. I want to talk to you a little bit more about roses. But first I want to introduce you to some of my babies. These two beds hold all the roses that I have hybridized myself. So they're kind of special to me. Over here we have Champagne Bubbles, a light yellow hybrid China, which China roses do quite well in Texas in the heat. But there's very few yellow ones, so I'm really proud of this one. Next I have Raymay Renee. This is a nice fuchsia one with a good fragrance. Over here we have a white semi-double rose that I call Kissin' Spitzen. I like to name some of my roses with German names. It's a hat tip to my Swiss German grandfather who inspires me in my gardening endeavors. And in case you don't know, Kissin' Spitzen means lace pillow in German. Back here I've got one that I call Watermelon Wine. When it blooms here in a few weeks, it'll be covered with blooms. It's a single, and I like to call it my Texas version of the knockout rose. This one is a nice pink rose that I hybridized, and you can see it's really spreading out and getting lush. This one is Vicky D. This rose is called Sugar Booger, and this is what started all of my hybridizing endeavors. I wanted a yellow rose to name after my dad because that was his favorite color. This one is not quite as yellow as I want for him, so after about 12 years I'm still trying to find that yellow rose. Today we're going to talk about roses preparation for the fall. And I had a request of someone that wanted to know, what do I do with my roses in the fall? Well, in Texas, you have to consider that you have actually two rose seasons. In the spring, coming out of the winter, breaking dormancy, you'll get a wonderful flush of blooms. In the summer, when it gets really hot, they like to hibernate, and they will just quit blooming and just stand almost dormant. That's okay. You need to let them rest through the summer weather. Just keep them well watered. In August, and we're right in the middle of August now, I like to give them some fertilizer. And I'm not being paid by these folks, but just so that you know what I use, this is produced by Maestro Grow, which is a part of Rabbit Hill Farms, and they're located in Justin, Texas. And this is Rose Glow. This is what I use on my roses. It works well. It's not going to be available probably in all areas of Texas. And if you can't find this, then I would tell you to use Espoma products. That's E-S-P-O-M-A. That is a very good natural fertilizer too. And this one has lots of good stuff in it, like alfalfa meal and poultry litter, molasses. It's all natural. You're not using chemicals when you use these. Let me encourage you, if you want to do roses and do them well, get the good tools, get the good fertilizer. Get you a pair of gauntlets. If any of you like Renaissance fairs, you know what a gauntlet is. It's one that comes up on your arm so you can get in there and you can trim your roses back without getting any thorns on you. Get you a good pair of clippers. These are Felco brand clippers, and I've had these for many years. They hold up well, and these I only use on my roses. Now, Sugar Booger has really grown this year, and I've pulled back the covered wagon covers, but I want to tell you that these covers have worked so well. You can see, especially on these roses here in the middle, they're green, they're lush, they're putting out lots of new growth and new buds, and the covered wagon covers are going to be a staple in my garden from now on. Now, I like to take these, this one's grown up almost above the cover, so I'm going to clip it back by about half. And the reason I do that is that I like to root my cuttings. I can get about 3 cuttings off of this one pruning. And take some leaves off the bottom and leave a couple of leaves on the top. Put them in a jar of water. Make another clip. Put that in the water. Now these, I can deadhead where they've already bloomed. We're going to cut the blooms off, because in this heat, after today, they're going to be all curled up and brown. And we make some smaller cuttings. Now, I'm going to let these sit in water. Tonight when it cools down, I'll come out here and dip them in some root tone. Sitting in water. I'm going to dip them in some root tone and put them in my mist beds. I have over here an area where I have dish pans with sand in it, and it's builder's sand. And I put my cuttings in there to root. But if you'll take your roses down about a third, deadhead them, take them down about a third, and fertilize them, and start watering them real good after you put the fertilizer on. Then this fall, you're going to have another flush of blooms, and depending on the weather, you may even have blooms for your Christmas dinner table. All right, folks, we're going to close off for today, and don't forget, go out and smell the roses.